Hey everybody, it's the Lawrence Prezman. You're watching Stoppage Time, powered by WagerTalk.com, SportsMemo.com, and of course the iconic Gold Sheet. 3 guests today, excited to have Pavlos joining us from Greece. You can find him at Pauly_WT. And how are you, my friend? It's been a long time. Last I saw you, you had a mohawk and a beard that didn't look as hungry Jack as that one.
I'm fine. I hope everyone is fine. During the pandemic, actually in Greece, things are pretty easy right now. I hope everything is the same in the US and Canada. We have some pretty weird fluctuations in temperature, from very hot to very cold, but that's it.
Boys, I got to close the door of my office. The beautiful Vivian is with us, and she's walking around having a chat. But okay, it seems like it's good. Hey, La Maguina, love having you with us, my friend, and Chris at WagerTalk. Thank you for taking the time out of your day for getting paid to actually do this. Greatly appreciated, brother.
It's the one show he looks forward to every week.
Nick Borrman, how's the golf going?
Golf's going great, man. Played yesterday. It was a beautiful day. Played well, and things are good. You met my baby boy Cayman on Monday, and he's doing great. So all things are good in my world. God, it's so funny. I'm like tanned in real life, but I shine these lights on me. I look so pale. Carm, is that an Athens shirt? AEG, baby?
Yes, it is. AEK Athens.
AEK. I lost it already.
Yeah, I figured we have Pavlos on the show today, and I'm not sure which fan he is. I think it's either Panathinaikos or maybe Paul.
I guarantee you there's a lot of vowels in whatever team he cheers for.
I figured in honor of him, I went through my collection of jerseys and pulled out one of the ones from the Greek Super League.
Guys, we got to talk a little bit before we get into soccer, but we are going deep today. Each of you will provide us a play. We're focused on the Bundesliga. Then we'll go through the European update. We'll do a couple of free picks, and we'll talk about Friday's show with Carmine, Nick Borrman, and Kevin Dolan, the Irishman. God, are we a good mix. We got a Greek, an Italian, a man who looks like he's from Holland, and a South African Jew, all on the same show. Nick, am I right? Are you a Dutchman?
I am a mix. I'm Polish, Irish, and German as my main pieces. So
Irish, and German. Okay. There must be some good cooking in your house.
Yeah. Well, not so much me, but the
she makes you
when I was growing up, my mother.
Bangers with pierogies and a side of Guinness.
Well, my wife's Italian, so she does that.
Nikos, thanks for joining us.
What Nick just told us that he's a pig.
That's exactly right. That's exactly how I describe it.
Anyway, guys, Nikos, welcome. Jonathan Ramirez, welcome, my friend. Kay, nice to see you. And Jonathan already with questions. We'll get to them. I just want to stop the show for a second and Pavlos, show us what you're wearing. Like stand up or something. Pavlos is the first person to ever come on one of my shows in a shirt and tie. It's never been done. Pavlos, why don't you tell us why you're wearing a shirt and tie?
I was tricked into it, but anyway, you know what they say. They say it's better to go overdressed than underdressed.
Firstly, you look phenomenal. So everybody, you can see Carmine has got tears dripping down his face. Carmine told Pavlos that the first time you're ever on Stoppage Time, your initial inauguration show, you have to come on with a suit and tie. Pavlos spent like half an hour running around trying to find a suit and tie. Then Carmine had to walk him through doing the knot. And Carmine got so much joy out of this practical joke. Carm?
Yes. Listen, we have a group with Pavlos, Kevin, and Nick, and the guys. We message back and forth on games, but because Pavlos was on and he was like, "How do you prepare?" I thought it was a good time to lay one down on him. And then just before this show started, we were going through some stuff on Skype, and he says, so I am supposed to wear a shirt and tie today, right? It's not a joke. And I'm trying to keep a straight face. I'm like, no, this is completely serious. You've got to wear a shirt and tie. Everyone does it on their first show. So, Pavlos, it's your initiation, my friend. It's because we love you as part of our family. So look at it that way.
Exactly. Nicely said, Carmine. Yeah. Nicely said. Nick, Carmine, all the listeners, Pavlos, we have to tell you guys a story. It's not related to sports betting, but I assure you, you will all enjoy it. Nick, I'll talk to you about this. Carmine is a practical joker. He does it all the time to people. One of the practical jokes over the last 10, 15 years that have stood out to me is he has a friend named Ronnie Lebo, and I'll set the story up and then Carm can tell you it. Ronnie, well, he doesn't shut up. He thinks the world spins around him. Some would argue that I feel the same way, but the bottom line is he's a hardcore poker player who's not really good but thinks he's amazing, and the cards and luck just aren't in his favor. Again, something that could probably be said about me. This was back when Full Tilt used to sponsor guys to go to the World Series of Poker. And Ronnie's dream was to go to the World Series main event, but it's $10,000 US, and he was very upset. And he knew that Full Tilt were sponsoring people, so he was playing on their website. He was trying to get them to notice him, etc., etc. Carm, finish the story, please.
So I had a trip planned. 5-6 months future, going to Vegas. And I decided to play a practical joke on Ronnie because all of his Facebook stuff was just Full Tilt this and Full Tilt that. It was so annoying. So I went on to one of these sites where you can order these fake jerseys. And there's a company in China. And I had them send me a Full Tilt jersey in his size with his name on the back and his favorite number. And so it cost me like about $40 or so to get this jersey. They send it to me. I put it away. I'm like, when it's time for my trip, I'll take it with me to Vegas. I type up a letter with the Full Tilt masthead on the top and everything, their address. But what I do is I put Las Vegas office, and I put the Mirage address on it, because if you Google it, you'll see Las Vegas office, and it doesn't tell you who it is. It just tells you it's on the Strip. So I grabbed this letter, I put it put it away. I take all of this stuff with me to Vegas. Nobody knows I'm going to Vegas. I don't say anything on Facebook or anything. So he has no idea, nor does anyone else. When I get there, I put it in a FedEx box with the letter stating that he's been picked after reviewing his numbers and talking with certain individuals that he's a very good online player. They're going to give him Full Tilt sponsorship. He's going to play in the main event plus $5,000 to play in cash games and an additional $5,000 in his Full Tilt account. So this is what happens. I literally track this package on my phone from Vegas to Toronto, and I'm just laughing inside. And eventually, within an hour of the package arriving at his house, his Facebook status is, "My dreams have come true." And then it's followed up by, "Guys, you'll never believe what happened." And then there's a picture of him in the mirror snapping a picture. And I've got the picture. I'll post it on Twitter. And he is excited as hell that he's been thing. He tried calling me. I just sent it to voicemail so many times because I guess he wanted to tell me. And then he's like, "I'm not sure what to do next." He goes, I tried calling the number, but I just get voicemail. I've sent emails to like all of their departments. He's like literally reaching out to them an hour after he got the package to try and get the money. And then I had to finally drop the bomb on him that it was a practical joke. And of course he says, "Oh yeah, I knew that all the time." Yet the pictures that he posted on Facebook tell a different story. So
it was so beautiful, dude. The guy went from pure ecstasy to tears rolling down his face. Soccer time. Let's get to it. Nick Borrman, how did you do this past weekend? You've been absolutely simply on fire. Has it continued?
Started off the weekend well, had a 5% winner Friday, which was going on during the show, and then went 1-1 Saturday, still won some money as the loss was a half, but then the last 3 days have not been great, gave some back, so was 1-2 yesterday as Dortmund unfortunately could not get the draw, at least against Bayern, which Carm and I were on different sides.
So Carm won.
And for rightful reasons, but it was a tough game to watch. I'm a Dortmund fan, as you guys know, and they had their chances. It was a well-played game between the teams. Holland was a little slow. As Carm, you said, he picked up a knock in the game and was a little limpy, I guess you could say, or a little slower throughout the game. But either way, disappointing result there. Won my total, though, which right now I'm on a 12-0 totals run, so hopefully we can keep that going. And overall, over the 6 weeks, still been very, very good run. So a couple bad days in the last 2 days, but ready to get back today.
Pavlos, what's going on with you, my friend? Are you winning every day? Well, I mean, not every day. That's impossible, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, it was a pretty successful week for me. But since the Bundesliga restarted, I kind of trusted Cologne twice.
Yeah.
I don't know why I did that. Actually, the numbers agreed, but the players didn't. And they let me down, and pretty much everyone else, the guys in this show and the guys that are watching this show, they let everybody down twice. Let's see how they'll do today.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about that. You're going to take apart the Cologne game in a little bit. Carmine, a lot of people are commenting about how cold-blooded you are, et cetera, et cetera. I love it. And, guys, that's only one of like 100 of these stories that Carm and I can tell. The dude doesn't stop with this stuff. Carm, how you doing, brother? You winning?
Yeah, no, the weekend, it was, in the end, it was a profitable weekend, but obviously the one game that I really wanted to win, my teams have been getting off to leads and good leads, but, the aforementioned Cologne, 2-0 lead, they blow it in the second half, and draw 2-2, that kills one of my plays, and then Hoffenheim go on the road to Paderborn to score a quick goal 6 minutes in. That's usually a killer. When you score a goal on the road 6 minutes in against the bottom of the league team, you can usually roll from there. But then what happens? The unmanageable, the unthinkable, the defender, the last guy back, goes to pass it and flubs it, and it rolls right to the Paderborn guy who's alone with the goalie and just curls it into an empty net, more or less, and 1-1, and it actually finished like that. There was no other chances the rest of the way, and it just, in order to win, it's kind of like poker. We go full circle here. You've got to have the best hand, but you've got to get lucky, and Hoffenheim were definitely the best team, but I didn't get lucky. Unfortunately, they blew that lead, but winners nonetheless. 2-1 yesterday with that Bayern one, and I'd like to touch on that Bayern one real quick because Nick knows. I told him Holland for Borussia Dortmund. There was something wrong with him. 15 minutes into the game, I knew it. I go, there's something wrong with this guy. He's a step slow, and we find out later because he had to come out in the 75th minute or something that he actually had a knee-on-knee collision with the official, the ref. And Lawrence, you play hockey and you do a lot of physio stuff. You know, when you hurt that knee, you're not the same. When you're trying to go full speed, it's just not the same. And one final thing, when we're talking about full speed, the Canadian, Alphonse Davies of Bayern Munich, my God. Holland was in alone with one defender.
That was unbelievable how he came back.
And he traveled at 35.3 kilometers an hour, which is 21 miles an hour for the Americans watching this show, to not only come back and cover him, but to take the ball away from him and get it back upfield. That's just unbelievable.
Yeah, and his body positioning when he took the ball away was just spectacular. It was such a veteran play by him, and this is a 19-year-old kid. Super exciting to see how he develops, and about time Canada has a monster of a soccer player. Guys, I want to welcome a lot of people into the posting forum on YouTube. I can't thank you enough. John Wood, really appreciate the nice words. Abel, enjoy Zepp and the joint. Brian, nice to see you. Mr. Watson, David Chan, Manishma, Mr. Tabati, Ray Pop, nice to see you, my friend. He liked your joke, Carmine Bianco. Guys, we have a huge promotion up today. The promo code you can use at WagerTalk and Sports Memo, it's ST for stoppage time, ST25. You get $25 off of any one of these guys, Pavlos, Carmine, or Nick, any one of their 3, 7, or 30-day packages. So head over to WagerTalk and Sports Memo and use the promo code ST25. Okay, Nick, you're up. It's the round of 28 in the Bundesliga. We've got some midweek matches, 5 set for today. Let's break down 3 of them. You're first, my friend. Union Berlin, they host Mainz. Talk to me, baby. Where do we put our money in this game?
Okay. Since the first game back, Union Berlin played Bayern, and they actually looked pretty good. Now, they went into that game with, we'll call it the Bayern defense, which is stop as much of their attack as you possibly can. And, you go into that game knowing that you're not pushing out, you're not putting guys down on their side of the pitch. You're really just trying to hope to catch Bayern, maybe pushing too far forward and catch them on the break, but you're really not pushing forward. So with that type of a game plan, the numbers made sense. They really kept Bayern limited. They only had 14 shots on that game, which for Bayern is really, really low. And they did a good job. They ultimately still ended up losing 0-2, but it could have been, they were lucky. They were actually unlucky. They had a couple chances even in that game to tie it early at 1-1. So, they played a well-structured game, and they did a good job. Now, going on to their second game, it was the Berlin Derby. They went and played at Hertha, and that game, I would basically say the opposite. They were atrocious on defense. They lost 0-4, first of all. But they were absolutely atrocious on defense, and offensively, they didn't manage a single shot on goal. So really, in the 2 games offensively, they haven't done anything, but defensively, they looked better in the first game, but again, they went in with the defensive game plan. And in the second game, when they had, the Berlin Derby, a chance to try to pick up points and win, they were awful. So at least on the on the offensive side, I'm not expecting much here, but because they're struggling on the defensive side, and this is a game where both teams are going to be looking for points, I think we're going to see more of an open play here, like we did in the Berlin Derby, and I think we could see goals either way, not necessarily because they're good offensive teams, but because both are not good defensive teams. Mainz, in their 2 games, they were, as Carr mentioned before, they were trailing 0-2 at Cologne before they tied it up 2-2 in the second half. It was basically Cologne had brought on their subs, leading 2-0 around the 60th minute or so, and Mainz did a good job. They kind of took advantage of that situation right away, where the guys quite weren't, in the game yet, and they took 2 goals real quick and then ended up drawing 2-2. So aside for those, 10, 15 minutes, we'll call it, in that game, that's all they really looked decent at in their first 2 games. Then they lost 0-5 against Leipzig last weekend, and just a blowout, which they already lost by 8 to them earlier this year. So they were completely outplayed in both games, and they have not looked good on the defensive side either. But yet I go back to the fact that this is a winnable game for both teams. I think both will be pushing for the win. And if you look at their over-under marks on the year, you have Mainz as 21-6 with over-under record on this number, and you have Union Berlin at 15-12. So they have been over teams this whole year purely because of their defense. And in this type of a situation, both teams need points. Both teams are going to push a little forward, and both teams suck at defense. I like the over. I have it released at 2 3/4 right now. It has fluctuated between -125 to -130 on the 2.5 goal line, or around even money on the 2 3/4 goal line. So either way is safe. Just depends which way you want to go with your your juice. But I like the over in this one. I think we'll see some goals. I think we'll see it open up. And these games today, quick reminder, these go on in about an hour from now. So if you're listening right now, make sure if you're interested in taking any of these that you get your action in soon.
He's Nick Borrman. Dude knows his shit. Let me tell you guys real quick. First, thank you everybody for logging on. I love when the chat room is active. Mike Majit, he's on coming in through Periscope. Anybody coming in through Periscope, Facebook, Twitch, anything not YouTube, I do see your comments. I just can't respond to them. We are fixing that. But if you do want me to respond, or Carm or Nick inside of the chat room, just head over to our YouTube channel and comment there. Also, don't forget, everybody, our 2 p.m. show is the NASCAR show. It is so good. The guys are just incredible at the sport. Steve Merrill hosts. Andy Lang and Rocky Atkinson are his guests. And at 3 o'clock, well, Gianni's back. Gianni, Kelly, and Minty for Straight from the Strip. Carm, let's talk to you, brother. Augsburg host Paderborn. Augsburg got a big win last week, 3-0 result. What's going to happen in this one, brother? Are they going to win by 3 again?
Yeah, just before I jump onto this one, if you don't mind, I'm going to answer a quick question in the chat from Kane about away teams and doing well so far since the restart in these empty stadiums. Home teams are only 3, 12, and 7 right now. So obviously, the away teams with 12 wins and 7 draws are doing well. We'll see how this pans out over the next few weeks, if this is just an anomaly. But at this point right now, it seems like the empty stadiums are hurting the home teams more than they're helping them. But we'll keep an eye on that as we continue on. This isn't the best game on the card this week by far, but it does offer some pretty different and some pretty good betting options with some value. Augsburg right now sits at 30 points. They're 6 above the relegation line, and there's a pack of like 5 teams that are battling to stay in the Bundesliga and not drop down. They're in that danger zone. So any string of losses is going to hurt. And this is one of those fixtures where both teams need a win. You look at Augsburg, they lost 2-1 in their first off the restart, before beating a struggling Schalke team that has just completely nosedived and continues to lose. They beat them on the weekend, and that was only their second win this in 2020, and obviously in 10 games that have been played so far. Defending is one of their biggest problems. That's why they sit where they are. They've allowed 54 goals. They're the 4th worst team. The team they played today, Paderborn, is the 3rd worst team at 55 goals. In the first show, I calculated the safety number. The safety number is how many points I think it's going to take for a team to stay in Bundesliga this year, and that's 34 points. So they're at 30. They're 4 points off. They have a couple winnable games coming up. So it's not while 3 points is great here, it's not imperative that they get 3, but they got to get at least 1, and I'll get to why in a second. They're going to need to find some scoring, and likely from their forward Niederlacher. He's gone like 7 games without a goal, and we saw with Timo Werner, and these are two completely different players, but Werner had gone 8 games without a goal and then scored 3 on the weekend in Mainz and beating them. But this guy scored 11 goals, 6 assists. He hasn't found the back of the net in 7 games. He's got to start scoring for him. I'm going to have a prop on him at the end of this little speech of mine here.
I don't think your speeches ever end.
It will.
Pavlos is sitting there going when's it my turn, damn it.
And why am I wearing a tie? But let's look at, we'll look at Paderborn. Listen, I'm going to give these guys credit. I don't know how they've done it the last 2 weeks. They came out of the break with 16 points, dead last in the league. A definite team that's going to get relegated. But what did they do? First game, they go to Dusseldorf, finishes in a 0-0 draw. They had 1 shot on goal, and they were lucky to even get that point because Dusseldorf hit the woodwork 4 times in that game. One of those should have gone in. Then the next week, what do? They're gifted a goal by Hoffenheim. They draw 1-1 in a game where all of the stats were in Hoffenheim's favor. So they picked up 2 points. Now, here's the thing: is they got 18 points. They're 9 back of safety. That's not going to happen. But they're 6 back of that third relegation spot.
Yeah.
If that third relegation spot is a playoff spot, so you can finish in a relegation spot and actually win your way back in through a playoff with one of the teams from the Bundesliga too, and you get to stay up in the league.
And
It's
that's
happened
got to
before.
be exciting as hell.
Well, 6 points. They're 6 points back, so they've got life, and they continue to get life if the other teams continue to falter. Number one, but number two, you pick up points, and this is why they have actually a couple games. It's hard to say bottom of the league team has winnable games, but they do have winnable games in their schedule. Get a point here at Augsburg, and look at the line, guys. Augsburg's minus 110. The draw's 280 and 280. If you're a novice and you just look at the standings, you're like, these guys are bottom of the league. Augsburg's only 110. I got to lay this number. No, you don't. Bookmakers aren't idiots. The line is where it is for a reason. In giving that, these are the props that I have for this game. Both teams to score. You can get it anywhere from a minus 150 to minus 165 right now. A draw, plus 280. Because if this game is tight late, neither team is going to take that chance. I think there'll be hope. This is one of those games where they're both happy with a point. And believe it or not, exact score 1-1 is plus 650. Now, think about this. The 1-1 score line at plus 650 is the lowest exact score offer that they have. Neither team actually winning the game is lower than 650. The next lowest one is Augsburg to win 2-1 at plus 750. So the draw at 1-1 is the lowest available price for exact scores. And then the final one is Niederlacher to score. I think he's going to score today for Augsburg, and he's plus 150 to score at any time. So with any luck, it finishes 1-1, which gets both teams to score, the draw, the exact score, and hopefully Niederlacher scores the goal and we go for the 4-0 sweep.
He's Carmine Bianco, the most concise man around. Pavlos, it's finally your turn, my brother. And then after you take apart this game, we're going to go to some free picks and the European update. Pavlos, Nick and Carmine wanted nothing to do with this game at all. Hoffenheim or Cologne, both have just stunk it up since the return. Neither with a win. Something has to give today. These two schmobos played a practical joke on you to wear a suit and tie today. I think the second practical joke is to talk about this particular game. But you put your hand up. So where are the bets in this one, my friend? Oh, look, you were leaning back listening to Carm. I like that. By the way, Pavlos, that beard is just, it's so American more than anything else. I mean, I can see you eating like a stick of meat. Anyway, talk to me, brother.
I'm gonna start off by giving out a few thoughts about how soccer, or actually how athletes perform in empty arenas or filled arenas. Let me break this down to you. There are some players that are driven by the crowd. They want their home crowd to cheer for them, and if there is no crowd, they simply can't perform. The same goes for some players that play away from home. They want the opposing fans to cheer against them, so that they feed off that energy. For example, like maybe Shaquille O'Neal in the NBA, he said that whenever I heard the fans, making fun of me for the free throws, I just wanted to steamroll every opponent. So the absence of fans has clearly affected how players perform. Also, there are some players that are pretty good, but they get stage fright when they get on the pitch and they can't perform. So now that there's no fans on the stadiums, some players are playing worse than they were, and some players are playing better than they were. So that's just a few thoughts on the empty stadiums. Another thought is that since the teams in the Bundesliga and pretty much every league in the world except the MLS, they have relegation. There is a relegation zone, which means that the top 2 or 3 teams, the bottom 2 or 3 teams, they get relegated to an inferior league. So, for example, take Werder Bremen yesterday. They played against Gladbach. The one team, Gladbach, they're trying to stay at the top 4 spots of the league table, so they can get a Champions League ticket, which is a lot of pride and money for the team. But if you look at Werder Bremen, they're currently at the penultimate spot, at the 17th spot of the Bundesliga, and they're really fighting to stay, to avoid the relegation. So the motivation for such teams who are fighting to avoid the relegation is sometimes a bit higher than the motivation for a team that is already at the top of the standings. That's why we saw them get a draw yesterday, and that's why we saw them get a win the week before at Freiburg. So I tried to derail the Hoffenheim versus Cologne match for so long, but I guess I have to get into it right now. Yeah. Okay. Hoffenheim, they're usually a very nice team. They're currently sitting at the 9th spot with 10 wins, 11 losses, and 6 draws. Their home record is 5 wins, 8 losses, and just 1 draw. They're literally the one team that has the fewest draws. If you look at Cologne, they have an away record of 4 wins, 8 losses, and 1 draw, which means that the one team, the home team, has the fewest draws at home, and the away team has the fewest draws on the road. So one would think that this wouldn't be a draw. It would either be a home win or an away win. But if you look at the matches between the two teams, you'll see that in the last 8 matches between the two, regardless of venue, there were 4 draws. Hoffenheim are actually undefeated in that span. They have 4 wins and 4 draws. Cologne have never beaten Hoffenheim in the last 8 matches. Now, the last 2 matches between the two in this venue were massive wins by Hoffenheim. It was a 6-0 and a 4-0. But Hoffenheim, they are missing their key striker. His name is Kramaric or whatever you want to call him. He's their best striker by far, and he has been sidelined by injuries for pretty much the entire season. And his backup, Isaac Belfodil, who is also a pretty decent striker, is also unavailable. But even their third striker, he's called Dabur. He recently returned from injury. He played like 30 minutes in the previous match. I think he's going to start today, which will give Hoffenheim, a really, some firepower up front, because their problem isn't in creating chances. They do create a lot of chances, but they fail in converting them to goals. So I think today, with the addition of Dabur in the starting lineup, they'll have a better shot at actually scoring goals, not only creating goals. Now, I don't know what to say about Cologne. They let me down twice with the same 2-2 exact score. They're not actually very bad. They also create a lot of chances, but things happen in soccer. As I said, the empty arenas have really affected some players, if not all of them. I don't know who is going to win this, or if it is going to be a draw. I think I'll take the over 3 goals in this match, because, as I said, the addition of Dabur in the starting lineup for Hoffenheim will surely give them a couple of goals. And Cologne, they do score a lot, but they also concede a lot. So, yeah, I'll just take the over 3, and I'll not pick a winner.
He's Pavlos.
Over 3 goals from me.
Thanks, brother. And also, next time you're on, can you get some light? It's very dark where you are, and with that manly beard of yours, we all we see is what teeth. Welcome,
Lawrence. Can I jump in for a second?
No. Okay, Carm. Rock, paper, scissors for who jumps in. Ready? Ready? Okay, wait. I gotta see your hand. Okay, on three. Where's your hand? Put it in front of your chin.
Ready?
Okay, on three. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Clearly he's delayed. I won, so you don't get to jump in. No.
I was just going to say to our good man there, I appreciate him first, I guess, if I was saying it in Greek, I think it's Efkaristo, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, now he's showing off. Hey, guys, again, thank you so much for joining us on the chat. I love that it's active. Robert S., welcome, my brother. Stephen Kratko, he writes, what's up, Prez? Prez is working away, man. That's what's up. And, of course, my good friend Herman, who, by the way, does agree with you, Pavlos. He likes the over in the Hoffenheim game. Herman, you are welcome anytime, bro. I'm a fan, and I'm going to win you over. That's my goal. Jonathan Ramirez, we always love having you. Everybody make sure to check out the 2 p.m. show. It's the NASCAR show hosted by Steve Merrill. I will not be on that show, so for all the people who don't want to see or hear me, that's the show. 3 p.m. Eastern as well. Minty, Kelly, and Gianni straight from the strip. I think we're going to be talking a lot of UFC. Nice to see you, Amen. D. Hennies, we welcome, brother. In the future, anybody chatting on Twitch or Periscope, come into the YouTube chat room. It's more fun there. Guys, free picks. Nick, it's been a while since I heard your wonderful voice. What do you got for us? Anything in any game?
Well, our free picks were supposed to be.
Yeah, so games, there might be something else you like.
I will we give. Out there. Hang on, I got one more. Sang Ju, Sang Moo, Friday morning, 6 a.m. Eastern, plus a quarter of a goal. I'll have analysis up on WagerTalk later, but Sang Ju, Sang Moo, Friday morning.
And how about you? That rhymed, Carm.
All right. I'm going to give, because you guys are watching the show, right? The second half will be starting shortly in the Red Bull Hertha Berlin game. And you can, I would say, take Red Bull to win the game. You're laying some juice. They're minus 175, or you can take the goal line and lay minus a goal, and you're getting plus 105 on the line. I believe they'll win this game, and if they score the next one, they'll score a third.
Pavlos, any other games that you are betting on that you want to give out?
On Friday, there is a match for the Austrian Cup. It's actually the final between Salzburg and Austria Lustenau. Since neither of these two teams has played a lot of matches, actually it's just the first match after the first break. I'm gonna take the under 3.5 goals in this match. I think it's not a great price. It's minus 148. But I don't. It's a cup final, and since the two teams are, they don't have much fitness right now. I don't think there's gonna be 4 goals or more in this one. So yeah, the under.
Awesome stuff, Nick Borrman, Carmine Bianco, Pavlos Laguretos. All three of these guys, you can get $25 off of a 3, 7, or 30-day package over at Sports Memo or WagerTalk. Use the promo code ST25. We have a few more minutes left. Carmine, give us a quick global update. I think the Czech League just started up. A lot more coming our way. Fill us in, my friend.
Yeah, a quick thing on that promo, guys. It is ST25, but if you head over to Pavlos's page or Nick, and you'll find Nick now at WagerTalk. So make sure that's where you're looking for him. Because some of these guys didn't have a 3-day, we're still working on getting their pages up properly, so they all sort of look the same. Our crew in Detroit have created special packages for him. So if you look, you'll see a WagerTalk special for Pavlos that says 3 days of soccer, which is $49. You click on that, and then you enter ST25, and it takes $25 off. 7-day package is the same, and 30, and the same for Nick. With that said, let's head over to Europe. Obviously, Bundesliga is in action. Denmark starts tomorrow, the 28th, with their games. Czech Republic started yesterday. Austrian Cup, as Pavlos mentioned, starts on Friday, the 29th. And then their league championship series, where they take the top teams and they play for a Champions League spot. The bottom teams fight off relegation. That starts June the 3rd. Spain restarts on June the 11th. Italy will restart one of two dates, the 13th or the 20th, but those are firm dates now. And the Premier League will start on the 19th. That's what they're aiming for. Originally, it was supposed to be the 12th or 13th, but 19th looks better. They're going to all teams decided or agreed on contact training now. So that's just a step closer to us getting back into play. And then the final one is the Portuguese, the Premier League starts on June the 3rd. MLS remains the same. They're going to play in Orlando, and they're just working out the logistics of it for the first 5 weeks.
Awesome stuff, boys. Guys, make sure to check out Stoppage Time on Friday. Nick Borrman, Carmine Bianco, and Kevin Dolan. We're going to talk more Bunda. We're going to talk Belarus, South Korea. Nick, do you have anything to add before we leave?
See you guys Friday.
Pavlos?
See you guys next Thursday.
Next Wednesday, but it's okay. In Greece, it might be Thursday.
What year is it?
What did David Tabati just put up? Prez, you have to look at the Bet365 board and see for sure which leagues are starting and all the rest of speculation. Yeah, we know that, David, but we are here to give out info as well, and Carm is right on top of this. My Prez volume is 150, the rest is 60. You know, it's funny you say that, Herman, because a couple of weeks ago, do you remember this, Carm? Everybody was saying my volume was really low and all my guests' volume was really high. Man, I am not a techie. I'm not screaming into the mic. I mean, I'll just lower my mic, but I appreciate the shout out. I'll try to get the volume right. And D. Hennies asks, how do we get all four faces to show up on the same screen? So real quick, here's how I do it. We call everybody on Skype. We then run the Skype feed into a program called OBS, which is a broadcasting system where I have the screen set up and I get to put all the people into places. Then we run from OBS into Restream. Restream then sends everything out to Twitch, Periscope, Twitter, and YouTube. That's sort of how it goes down. As for the volume, I'll keep working on that. Guys, outstanding stuff. Everybody, we're literally back in 18 minutes with our NASCAR show. Abel, go smoke another, brother, and make sure to come onto our NASCAR show. Nick, you joined the NASCAR show last week in the posting forum. It was great, right?
Last couple weeks, man. The show is awesome. Really like it. Yeah, absolutely. Check it out.
Pavlos, I want you in a suit and tie from now on. Don't take Carmine's practical joke. Own it. Own it and shove it back at him and always be the best looking guy on these shows.
The second, he has to know, I was going to send it in the chat, honestly, and I mean this, the second appearance you make is always in a tank top.
Yes.
So
it's always in a tank top. 100% correct.
Okay.
Yep. So you have to be in a tank top and just shave the middle of your beard.
The middle of my beard.
Yeah.
Okay.
We love you all, everybody. Okay. Thanks so much for watching Stoppage Time. I get such a smile on my face. You guys are really making this quarantine so much sweeter. I can't thank you all enough. Everybody, will see you in 15 minutes for the NASCAR show.